Hello, people of the internet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. A happy Saturday to you all. Hopefully, your weekend is going great. Or if you're watching this at any other point in the week, hopefully, you're having a great day nonetheless. I am back after a few days off. Turns out one of the deadlines I had for my research was 1 week earlier than I had intended it to be. And, well, I had to get a little bit of a head start on some research stuff. So I was on campus a few times more than I was supposed to this week. But, you know what? We are back. It is Saturday. It is 6 p.m. And that means all of the OSTs that we're going to drop and we're going to cover this week are going to be out. And I'm so tremendously excited for this one because, well, welcome to episode 13 of season 2 of OST Saturdays here on the channel. This is our weekly roundup where we go through a handful of OSTs that have dropped over the course of the past week or so. And we have got a collection of artists for you today. In terms of shows, we've got a few repeat shows, which normally becomes the case for OST Saturdays because some shows have just immaculate taste when it comes to artist choices. But for the rundown for this past 7 days worth of content, we have Miss Sujeong, formerly of Lovelyz fame. Love her voice tremendously. Miss Lovelyz dearly. So we've got Miss Sujeong, who also had a release, I believe, in this past week that I had to get to. ADYA, who are a girl group that debuted last year and haven't had a lot of new music since their debut, so I'm very excited to jump back on board with them. Mr. Changsub of B2B, who I feel like has become a staple of OST Saturday these days. Shipsenchi, much the same way. A little bit of a dual piece from Moonbyul and Wheein. I'm tremendously excited for, because I think that's a combination that I feel like I haven't heard a whole lot of. I've heard Solar and Moonbyul on a few occasions, I feel like, but Wheein and Moonbyul I don't think I've ever come across. And then the big one at the end. This dropped quite literally about 30 minutes ago. Miss Yves of Luna fame. Miss Ha Soo-young, kind of in preparation for her solo re-debut that's coming up here soon enough, has dropped a little bit of an OST number, and that is going to be a tremendous way to finish. So, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Here we go! Rightio, I was going to look up something, and apparently my meat fingers couldn't type it in fast enough while the intro was going. But today, in where I live in Japan, has been stupidly humid warm today. In fact, I think it's probably the warmest day this year. But it got up to a nice, balmy, humid 30 degrees Celsius here in the Japans, which for my Freedom Unit population is just around 86, 87 degrees or so. Putting in humidity in the middle of May, it's a little bit toasty. So once again, I have windows open. If the mic picks up on the fact that there's quite a heavy draft, I can only apologize. It looks like it's okay on OBS, so we're gonna roll with it. Any hoosers, we have some OSTs to cover, of course, and let's start off with a little bit of Miss Sujeong one time with the song It's Spring Breezy right now for drama Hua 100. Who was it? I think it was Rocky, right? Rocky had an OST for this show a little bit earlier on. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. And, well, we're going to be staying on with the show. So, Miss Sujeong, what do you have in store for us today? Here we go. Oh, they're on part 9 for this OST. Good gracious. We're starting out with a chill number. I'm so here for it. Her, like, wispy, breathy tone is so cool to listen to. There's like it's like a wispy huskiness to it that only Outer Lovelyz, only she could do. It's like the Sujeong vocal color for me, and it's spectacular. don't know why the video quality is pants though. And when you take in the consideration her breathy tone, when she has the kind of nice held notes like that, it does feel like a breath rather than a sung note, and I think that's just such a cool textural thing from her. And in terms of balancing for this song, there's a lot going on instrumentally, but her voice is so far forward in the mix that it's like the front and center thing. And I think that's really cool, because I love the instrumental here too. There's so much going on. But still, Sujeong is still front and center, and that doesn't change throughout the song. I think that's so cool. It's this post-chorus section that really showcases off that breathiness. It's just so... it's so smooth, that like attack into the phrase, the trail off at the end, it all just feels like... because Wheein doesn't go from 0 to 100 and down to 0 again, it's gradual. And I just think that's so cool. Oh, and we are going straight into the next song. That is not what we're going to do. We are going to talk about Miss Ryu Sujeong first. Wow. It's such a good way to start, because it's... I think, for me, that song kind of rides a really fine line between that late night, cozy, smooth vibe and a little bit of a brighter tune, because that is a bright song if you're looking at it from the direction of that kind of late night chill vibe. Because in terms of the instrumental track, that is the sound that It's Spring Breezy right now takes. But if you compare it to other songs of that style, it's really bright. There's a certain amount of like bright upward energy to it that you don't really find in that vein of music, and I think that makes it really stand out for me. It's because it's a sound that, especially in OST Saturday, we cover a lot. Like this type of kind of late night-ish tracks really works in an OST setting, especially because, well, in a drama setting, you have that visual element, and within that visual element, there's so many different directions you can go, right? Like you can film first thing in the morning, you can film middle of the day, the twilight hours, right in the middle of the evening. Whatever is shown on screen is going to dictate what music is paired with it. And just by changing the time in which a scene is shot, the fact that just that one fact alone can change what music is being attributed to that scene, I think is such a cool concept that you don't really get if you just listen to music on its own. So to have a song that plays so heavily into such a strongly rooted concept would end up with a final execution that just feels like it's a little bit different, a little bit just unique in terms of like other general music of that category. Love that very much. But we move on because I felt like that was getting a little bit rambly. ADYA, the girls from ADYA have their OST for the chairman is Level 9, which is a show that we definitely covered last week. And I forget who it was from last week, so I can only apologize for that. But well, we are back with new music from ADYA, admittedly, in an OST Saturday, which was not how I envisioned seeing them back, because they debuted last year with Purr, which was a very good song, really bright, really poppy. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I think didn't they have a remake of a first-gen girl group later on in the year? And I think that's it in terms of ADYA music that we've gotten. So the fact that, you know, they are adding to their discography now in the form of an OST, I think is going to be really cool, because I feel like ADYA haven't been around long enough to establish a proper sound signature for themselves yet. So it'll be really interesting to see what a group where they've kind of still got an open canvas, what they can do in the OST setting. Because OSTs and the artist studio discography don't really overlap a whole lot, especially when it comes to like bright pop groups. So let's see what they brought to the table, shall we? A dazzling day for the chairman is level 9. Lots of vocoded stuff. Actually, it's probably more vocal chops, isn't it? It's bright. It's bouncy. One notch build. I like the little ad-libs going on too. Take it one notch down for the pre-chorus. Oh, what is this release gonna be like? Not the biggest bloom in the world, but it's definitely got a bounce, it's definitely got a speed kick to it. Oh, get a little playful with the vocal rhythm, okay. Yeah, the second half of the verse here with the universe, the little ad-lib section, I think is so cute. And I think in general, all their vocal colors are pretty cutesy on this song too. I can't remember how it was in Per, but... got a little free-flowing vocal section up top. I'm assuming that's gonna be the end. Yeah, I noticed that it was a short song, but you know what? It's a short song, but it doesn't feel all that short just because it's a really fast song, so each beat like feels like it's about 0.8 seconds in the song, so it just kind of goes and goes and goes, but it ends at a really like firm ending point, which I appreciate, because sometimes when you get a fast song like this on a short song like this, you end up feeling like it's abruptly cut off a little bit too much. But for me, I didn't get that sensation with Dazzling Day. In fact, I think it's because each beat feels so fast, and I mean, it is a fast song in general, so even though it is a short song, you can cram a lot of measures into it, and because of it, it feels somewhat like a complete song. It could have had a big bridge, it could have had a big final chorus, but I'm not missing it a whole lot, which is rarely the case when it comes to short songs like this. But it's got the poppiness to it. It's very EDM-y. There's a certain... I'm not very well read on EDM subgenres, but especially that opening like first verse reminds me of... Oh, what DJ does it remind me of? But it reminds me of one of the songs on my EDM playlist that I used to listen to back in the high school days. Had a big EDM phase in high school, and it kind of reminds me of that. But then you pair it with the cutesy vocals on top, and it's like, okay, we're back to like cutesy girl group side of music now, and it's... I don't mind it. In fact, I like how cutesy it is, because it's like the song itself is already very bouncy, and so to add that like cute sounding the vocal color, like the cutesy vocal color vocal top line on top of it, it just kind of adds to that bounciness. but it makes it feel more like a pop song than just a bright EDM song, which I very much appreciate, especially once you get the little ad-libs going on in within the verses. That's my favorite part of the song, is getting the ad-libs in. It's just, they could have toned down the cuteness at any point. Nah, they just had to play into it and lean into it. And you know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate that they weren't afraid of going in that direction. I'm also a sucker for cutesy pop music, so that may have something to do with it. But we keep her moving, Mr. Changsub. How many times have we had Changsub on OST Saturday? But I reckon he might be up there for the most number of OSTs done by a single artist that we've covered on OST Saturday, because we cover him a lot. And we're gonna cover him again. So this is It's Alright from Dare to Love Me. Let's find out, shall we? Here we go. And with Changsub, I have no idea what he's gonna bring to the table, because he can do a lot. I'm liking the kicks, strong kicks. It feels bright. It's got a nice growth to it already. Oh. Like that rhythm difference there. Ooh. It's a little bit feel good. It's very bright. It's very pretty. It's a song that radiates, and I love stuff like this too. It's stylistically very reminiscent of ZB1 Jang Hao's Transit Love 3 OST. It's got that similar vibe. It's bright, it's uplifting, and it just kind of shines. Now I like that there's just an essence of that kind of rock Changsub vocal in here as well. It's a guilty pleasure of mine to get that kind of rougher, high chest voice Changsub. And the instrumental part definitely helps with enhancing that liveliness too. It's alright. Didn't want to blast out your ears too much, so I turned down some stuff in OBS. My bad. Yeah, and that was a full-length song packaged in 2 minutes 39, so there's a reason why I love getting Changsub on OST Saturdays, because he constantly provides stuff like this where it's his vocals doing his vocal things, because Lord knows the B2B guys can sing their heads off. But he's able to do this in such a variety of different tones. Like, we've had ballad Changsub before, we've had rock Changsub before, we've had kind of dark, depressing Changsub on the channel, and we've got this like really light and bright Changsub. And in terms of first impressions after listening to it, very much gives off Transit Love vibes. It's hopeful, it's bright, it's very inviting. And I mean, it looks like it's a historical drama just based off of the album art, but no, it makes me feel good listening to it, if that makes sense. What's the best way I want to articulate this? It feels like a ray of sunshine into my life in a way. Like, it's so warm, it's so comforting, and it's so nice and bright to listen to. No complaints whatsoever. None at all. Well, maybe if it was a little bit longer, but absolutely no complaints whatsoever. Mr. Ship Senchi, speaking of people who are on OST Saturday a lot. So he has done the song Spring Snow for Lovely Runner, which is a show that we have covered so many times at this point. I believe this is the only time we're doing it this week, which is, I feel, rare. We usually cover it once or twice a week. But Mr. Shipsenchi, glorious vocals, very smooth, lovely texture to his voice. On an OST is a match made in heaven. So much so that he has been on here so many times. Maybe not as much as Changsub, but he has been on here a lot of times. So, Spring Snow, Lovely Runner, here we go.
가려진 오랜 시간이 우리를 다시 불러와.
This is very clever. It's a song in 4, but each beat is subdivided into triplets. Dun, 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 dun.
그 끝은 항상 너인 걸. 'Cause I'm falling slowly in love with you.
Oh, that slow reveal with the instrumental, and then how the way Kwon Jung-yeol just slides into that pitch.
Oh, my life is you.
Hello, cello. Nice.
다시 또 꿈을 꾸는 나.
Oh, string section. Do you love a good string section?
너를 찾아갈 거야. 'Cause I'm falling slowly in love with you. 오랫동안 기다려온 너는 봄이야. 'Cause I'm falling slowly in love with you. 다시 지워진다 해도 Oh, my life is you.
Yeah, this song has a great elasticity to it, both in how the song develops and in that vocal top line. It's not firm on pitch every single time from the beginning. He slides into notes and phrases.
'Cause I'm falling slowly in love with you. 오랫동안 기다려온 너는 봄이야. 'Cause I'm falling.
Yeah, and the slow reveal of the instrumentals in the background, dude. It's happened on a few occasions in the song. Oh, chef's kiss.
Oh, my life is you.
Oh, come on! No final chord at the end. I kind of wanted a nice, just roll a double guitar chord at the end to finish there, but oh man. Anyways, yeah, Spring Snow is very, very nice. This is Kwon Jung-yeol 10cm in a nutshell. This is the type of voice that makes 10cm Kwon Jung-yeol interchangeable at this point now, but this is what makes his voice shine for me. This vocal color is just so him. That flexibility, that elasticity he has in his voice is so him. And there's a reason why he suits this OST sound so much, is because he can do that. And, you know, compared to the kind of more emotional slow ballads that he's done, this is more on his brighter end in terms of OSTs of his that we've covered here on OST Saturdays. But it still has this really pretty, just like rolling meadow sensation to it, and paired with that gorgeous instrumental section that I think almost purely acoustic instrumental section in the background with your strings and your double acoustic guitars and your drums. It's just, oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. His voice is so cool to listen to. One of my favorites of recent times. It's like, you have him, Yimujin. They're kind of both hand in hand vocalists who can do that really emotional voice with a very charming but unique vocal color to them. If you like this type of music, I highly recommend Ship Senchi's voice. Very cool stuff. Next up, a little duet piece. Miss Moonbyul and Miss Wheein of Mamamoo dropping a song called Frankly Speaking for the drama Frankly Speaking. Interesting little self-titled element here. That's a JTBC. I feel like we've been pretty okay this year. Hopefully we're good because we're not doing the MV. That's one of the main reasons why we're not doing the MVs anymore, is because television companies do not like us watching drama MVs because they take scenes from the show themselves. Sometimes we get them just on audio alone, but fingers crossed we're okay. Because, well, Moonbyul and Wheein, again, I mentioned in the intro, is a combo that I don't think I've really listened to a whole lot. I've heard Solar and Moonbyul a lot. I've heard Wheein and Solar a couple times, I feel like. Wasa and like there's 4 members in Mamamoo, and there's only a limited number of combinations you can make, but I don't think I've ever heard these two together. Let's find out. Here we go. Hopefully this email isn't important. No, it's just my electric bill that just came in. Whoa! It's bright, hello. I was not expecting the hook to be woven in here already, because I kind of lost track of where we are in the song now. What is happening? Yes, we got some ADYA action. Oh, slowly build back into the main beat. Okay. It's a very playful song, isn't it? The song structure is kind of wild because it feels like every other phrase is the main hook, which is not how a regular pop song is structured. Yeah, it's literally every other phrase within the song is the hook. That's so interesting to me. Whoa. Because this is giving off bridge/pre-chorus vibes now. Oh wait, hold on a second. Break the formula. And we're not going into the hook again either. Whoa, ooh, this final time around is different. No, we're still not back into the main hook. Okay, yeah, this song structure is kind of bonkers. You know, I finally got, like, my mind clocked onto the fact that, yes, we got that main hook a whole bunch. I was waiting for it that final time around and it never showed up, and now I feel like a fool. But the song itself is actually quite nice. It's a weirdly bouncy song that I won't say feels out of place, but it's definitely not what I expected when I saw these two, when I saw Moonbyul and Wheein on a song together. This was not the direction I imagined it would take. I'm not upset by it though, because we got quite a nice range of vocals from both of them. Of course, Moonbyul on the more rhythmic side of things, as Moonbyul does on many a time. And then getting Wheein with her little bit like wispier voice, kind of like with Ryu Sujeong from the first song on OST this week, but is getting that little wispy tone and carrying that through the song, regardless of if she's sitting in her low tone or high tone. I think that's one of the charming points about her voice that I love so much. And yeah, putting them together is really cool, because those two, I feel like, especially in a context like this where the song itself is already plenty bright enough, it allows for the vocal top line to kind of sit in the lower register a little bit more and get away with it. And I particularly like the low tones in Mamamoo's vocals, like just across the board, not specifically to these two, but for everyone. I like their low tones a lot. So to get a song, like, frankly speaking, that is quite peppy, quite bouncy, but get a lot of that low vocal that I like, thumbs up from me. Highly approve of that one. Wow, they even left the Sonia label on there. Oh, that hurts. Okay. But final song on this week's installment of OST Saturday. Actually, you know what? Let me go close the door real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Apologies. They're building a couple of new buildings across the street, and the wind's blowing from that direction. I think they use some kind of adhesive or something, but I feel like I'm getting high off of fumes, so I've gone ahead, closed the window, or at least that window, and well, let's continue. One final song for this week, Miss Yves of, well, ex Luna. No, I mean, Luna will always be Luna in my heart as an orbit myself, but Yves, the final member out of the 12-member lineup of Luna to make their musical return. So we've had Lucemble, we've had 5 in Lucemble. We have now 5 in Artemis. We have Chu, who made her solo debut a hot minute ago, or I guess re-debut if you count Heart Attack as her solo debut, which left Miss Yves as the final member. And we'd heard that she'd been doing some behind-the-scenes music stuff, which was really cool. Loved to see her get involved with some music. You know, she did like Strawberry Soda off of Lucemble's debut album and stuff. And, well, much like with Cheon from IZ*ONE, back when IZ*ONE disbanded, we weren't sure what direction she was gonna go. And after what felt like an eternity, we got an announcement that Yves would be making her music solo re-debut/debut coming up here soon enough. And well, one, I have been tremendously excited for it, because I think Idol Yves is tremendously talented, but I did not think that her return would kind of be starting with an OST of all things. So this is Breath from Missing Crown Prince, and well, Yves can do a whole lot vocally. Like, she is an insane performer by trade, I feel like, but she's got some vocals that are very tasty indeed. So here we go. Let's finish strong, shall we? Holy shit, it's Yves behind the mic. Oh my goodness.
사랑하던 날 아파하던 날 이따금어진 말도 마주하던 날
I like this reverb effect they put on her voice.
속에서 흐려지던 날
Isolated mix too, vocal instrument, that's it.
들려주는 숨소리에 다시는 감아 깊은 숨을 쉬고네 문득 내게 떠오르는
Oh, she's so back.
나를 쉬게 해 어디로든 날아갈 수 있게 허락했던 내 마음에
They chose a good song for her. It's a song that allows her to sit in that comfortable high chest voice range. Oh, and it's a cello, high cello. Oh, big growth into verse 2.
밝아오는 달 가만히 멈추어 긴 한숨을 뱉고네 시린 바람에 부서지던 날 봄비가 되어 내 등을
Really interesting song vocally because the top line is very long in the verses. It is not a quick vocal part by any means. How long has it been since we heard Yves sing like this? I want to hear where she takes this. I reckon it's gonna keep going up and up. Oh, the quick cut straight back into the final chorus.
그대의 숨이 나를 살게 해 어떻게든 일어날 수 있게 메말랐던 내 마음에
Something about this song, in this range, with this reverb, that vibrato of hers is spine-chilling. No bona fide final chord. That's fine. I have nothing bad to say whatsoever. In fact, I'm kind of speechless. One, I'm overwhelmed by the occasion. If we're talking like from a bias like direction, if I had to choose a bias in Luna, it probably would have been Yves. Just what she could do on stage, what she could do vocally, but also the kind of personality she had where she kind of gave off trip parent energy in a way. You know, you have someone like Hustle who's very much like Mama Bird within the Luna setup. Eve kind of gave off that group parent vibe to me, and I tend to lean into people who can give off that group parent vibe. As someone who often gets called by, or at least back during the undergrad days, would usually be called Trip Dad because I would be the one like planning stuff when people went out, or I'd like arrange I'd order Ubers if we were out at bars, or I would volunteer to drive if we're like going out somewhere. So like I relate to being trip dad, like group parents, trip dad. I very much relate to that. So, but with me and musical Eve, the wait has felt like, how long has it been since Luna technically like ceased activities at this point? It's been over a year, right? It's been close to a year and a half since, well, it's been well over a year and a half since Flip That came out. And then, well, there was supposed to be, what was that canceled album that they never ended up releasing? It was supposed to be like beginning of January of last year, right? And ever since then, a lot of it has been radio silence in terms of the music from Eve. So this doesn't feel real to me right now. This is spectacular. But musically, oh, this is exactly what I've been missing from Eve the performer. Her voice on a ballad like this all of a sudden picks up this really rich, almost caramelly smoothness, especially the way she kind of transitions between pitches and switches on that very subtle vibrato of hers is the just smoothest but also delicate richness to it that I love. It's one of my favorite things about her voice, is that really rich but also very subtle vibrato of hers. And on a song like Breath, where it is written in the perfect vocal range for her to show that off, well, that couldn't have ended any better. Oh, that was absolutely spectacular. And I'm glad I waited until 6 p.m. for this, because 100% worth it. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Hopefully you did as well. But I'm going to wrap up this week's edition of OST Saturday here. We do have a recap. We have the final 4 songs left from February of this year to check out. So if you're interested in, well, we've got a song from Yedam, from Oogie, The Vein. If you watch Superband, you'll know him as Che Bohun. And Miss Iso of Yves to finish off the month of February. So if any of those pique your fancy, keep your eyes peeled for episode, I don't even know what episode we're on. I think we're on 13, so episode 14 we'll finish up February. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you all for watching along with me. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. One last request from me: say let's work together as a community to bring a little bit of extra happiness back into the world, whether it be checking with your friends and family, holding the door open for somebody, or even picking up a piece of trash off the street. Just one small act of kindness that may brighten up someone else's day to day. And know that wherever you are in the world, should you ever be going through a tough time in your life, for whatever reason that may be, even though I'm just some guy on the internet who waffles about music in his free time, know that I will always be a friend, an ally, and a shoulder to lean on whenever you need me. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, spread the love. See you next time. Bye bye.